I'm Marilyn Ghigliotti, and you kind of caught me in the middle of packing and moving. You might know me from Clerks, but today, I'm made in New Jersey.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Made in Jersey. I am Jerry Strauss, and of course, this is where we talk about all the coolest people to ever set foot inside the Garden State. We are talking now to someone who is not only an amazing person, an amazing actress, an amazing entertainment professional, but she is also an amazing part of one of the most iconic movies in the history of New Jersey, I would say, directly tied to this state. Of course, we are talking about the OG of the Viewisk universe, if you will, of the Kevin Smith world. We're talking about Clerks, and we are talking about the young lady that many would say is the heart and soul of that movie, Marilyn Ghigliotti. How are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry, it's Ghigliotti.
Oh my God. I got it wrong. I worked on that. I worked on
That's
that.
okay. The H throws everybody off, and it's actually very common for most to get it wrong anyway. But thank you for having me. Pleasure
Oh,
to be here.
thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It's so exciting. This show is all about highlighting the people that we love from New Jersey or who are relevant to this state. Um, that don't necessarily make those top 10 lists. There's so much more to New Jersey than Frank Sinatra and Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen. Not to say those are not legendary people, but uh, I mean, for my life, as someone who grew up as a teenager in the 90s, you and Clerks and those initial movies that kind of spoke to us in such a unique way are as big of a part of my growing up as anything or anybody else. So I think a lot of us are just so excited to kind of dive into your life, into your world, especially since you were born in Jersey. You grew up here.
Actually, I was born in New York, but raised most of my life in New Jersey. I was born in Manhattan, I think. And my earliest memories, like Cambria Heights, Queens, moved into Jersey when I was in ninth grade.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And into Sayreville. Well, actually, even a little bit before that, because in seventh grade, moved to Jersey just for a small time, maybe a couple month window before moving to Puerto Rico, where my parents are from. Were there for about 2 years, then back to Jersey. And that's when I moved into Sayreville, home
Yeah.
of Jovi, in ninth grade.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So your whole kind of formative teenage high school experience was right in the smack dab in the middle of the state.
Yeah.
I grew up in Islin in Woodbridge, so right over the giant bridge with the giant movie theater that no longer exists.
Yeah, it's
But
amazing how much doesn't exist anymore over there, right? Oh my God.
absolutely. Do you get back here a lot? You've been on the West Coast for a long time now.
Yeah, I've been out on the West Coast since '97, although not for much longer. Sad to say, I will be moving out of LA come the end of May because it's just no longer sustainable financially for me. It's difficult to financially to move, but it's been a tough few years here.
Oh.
Oh, where were we? So yeah, I've been out here since '97. And what was the question again? I got off track there.
Oh, we were just talking about if you get back to this area, if you've been around frequently over the years.
The last time I was, oh my gosh, it's been a while since I've been to Jersey. And usually whenever I've gone over there, it's been because I've been going for something in particular, um, convention nearby or something like that. But it's been a while, and I still have some family. My sister lives in Jersey, so I'll stay usually with her.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's not very often.
Well, I'm curious now going back because you're a New Yorker. Your high school years were here in Jersey, and is that where you kind of really got involved in the idea of acting and being a part of that entertainment world? And uh, how did that how did that come about during those years for you?
Yeah. So at a certain point in my life, like mid 90s, was going through some changes, and so I decided to kind of find myself, and that's where I kind of decided to maybe venture into an area where the introvert me of growing up would never have seen herself.
Mhm.
um, and I found myself in the theater world, in the community theater. But I did first train for about 2 years uh, with someone, Actors Training Institute in Red Bank, New Jersey.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if it's there any longer, to be honest, but there were quite a few people that did come out of that area, in the training that was offered to us, which was basically very New York actors studio type of training.
Mhm.
Um, and once I felt comfortable enough, I took it to the community theater and just started auditioning in many of the theaters that were in the area to let myself be seen and eventually be welcomed into the fold of the community theater.
That's it's really interesting because we've heard that story time and time again of, I was kind of introverted, so I went into whether it's acting or comedy or I mean, I remember even starting college radio back in the day, but also it was very much a 180 for my personality to even do something like that or something like this, uh, from where I was in the years prior. Did you find like a common bond perhaps with that community that a lot of people seem to be in that space because they were looking to make that switch in their lives and maybe move away from being introverted and find that outlet?
I mean, I don't know that it was necessarily that, but I definitely felt a common bond with many of the people there. Um, Growing up, I could see that I was creative in different ways, but I didn't understand that. I didn't realize that, there's actually ways to make a living with being creative.
Mhm.
I didn't understand that that was a possibility. And so when I was looking for outlets for myself, and eventually found, and not that anybody gets paid doing community theater, because nobody does,
Right.
but still it was a way of being someone other than you,
Yeah.
being and that's, I feel like, what was really great as being an introvert, to be somebody I'm not, and to allow myself to not be judged for who I was portraying. I mean, and it's kind of a weird just juxtaposition as well, anyway, because you are being judged. But it wasn't me. I was playing a character, but then I'm being judged as an actor. So it is kind of weird in that sense. But it allowed me freedom. And I mean, it's not to say that I'm still not an introvert, but I consider myself an intro extro at this point. So I have my moments where it's like I have no problems, no qualms about talking to someone, but then there are other moments and times and days where I'm like, I am very in my box.
Yeah. 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 I think a lot of people can relate to that, certainly. Um, and it's great that you were able to find that outlet and find that. I mean, to me, as someone who is not an actor, there's got to be a similar feeling to playing a character and just being in a costume, being behind a mask. I mean, there's even just your own perception is at least I've got a little something to hide behind. So that's kind of a cool way to tiptoe into like a very different direction in life. And your direction took a really big life changing step when you got involved in Clerks. I I guess the big question I have is what was that transition there? Was the casting of that movie famously, Kevin and his team and just a little bit of money and maxing out credit cards and filming in this convenience store, was it tapping directly into that community theater community? How did you get to be a part of this movie?
Yeah, that's exactly how he did the casting. Is he went to his local theater because he lived in Atlantic Highlands at the time with his mom.
Hmm.
So it's like, why not go to the local theater and put the word out?
Yeah.
And went, did a monologue that I got out of a monologue book that I connected with and still do to this day. And Kevin pretty much contacted me, I think within the week, had me meet him at the convenience store. He talked to me, wanted me to take the script, see if I was comfortable with the dialogue, and the rest is history there.
Yeah, that's it's amazing to think about how something so entrenched in pop culture came from something that was so kind of DIY. What was your perception of the whole thing, though? Because I have to imagine, and maybe not as common back then because technology was different, but just some local guy saying, "Hey, I want to try out people for this movie I'm making." And obviously it was a legit thing, but was there any sort of hesitation on your part as to like what this thing was actually going to be?
No, no, not at all. I mean, I don't, and at that time, I don't think I knew enough about the business to kind of question it in any way.
No.
Um, the fact that it was held at a community theater that we all worked at, and then also then finding Brian attached to it as well. So, which we had worked together on the stage.
Mm.
So it's, it was just kind of the next step. It's like, oh, okay, I've done theater. It's like, let's see what it is to make a movie.
Huh.
Um, so it was just kind of a progression, and and I think it was a progression for everybody there, to be honest. We were all just saying, we were all experimenting together.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, in the movie, and people will remember if you of course as Veronica, who's Dante's current girlfriend in the movie that he's kind of struggling with. I guess the well, you guys are arguing, but certainly there's also a struggle about which direction he should be going in life, romantically, with you, not with you, the value of that relationship in his life. I would say you're probably among the, if not the most grounded character in the script. Like
Yeah.
you're not, there's nothing wacky happening to you. What you bring is real life to Dante amidst this sort of insanity that he's surrounded himself with. What was it in those early conversations with Kevin that made you the perfect Veronica?
Um, honestly, these stories that I hear, it's essentially the fact that my monologue was emotional is what kind of drew them to me to begin with.
Hmm.
But there definitely were a lot of things of Veronica that I just really connected with, and the fact that when I'm in a relationship, maybe I lose myself a little bit too much in that relationship.
Mhm.
And so I'm there to really give them the support that they need.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes to my detriment. Uh but yeah, I connected with a lot of that with her.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I think the audience connected with you, and actually, I think sort of the magic of that dynamic in the original Clerks is the fact that it was you weren't like like in a typical romantic comedy, the existing relationship is the one that people root against
Mm.
because it's like, it's not that great of a relationship, but meanwhile there's this other option that's magical, and this person just needs to go take that chance and chase after this new thing. But here it was the idea of this solid, stable relationship that was just really good for the Dante character and obviously for you. And the point was to kind of root for that to win out in the end, and for you guys to, for him to realize that, which is what happens by the end of the movie. So really, it says something, I think, uh, about Kevin's vision about what that good quality relationship um, could and should be, and your ability to embody that and to portray.
Thank you. And that's interesting because I'd never even thought about that before. Because yes, rom-coms, it's usually about let's ditch that current girlfriend who treats you badly and go with the one that does treat you well.
Right.
And yeah, this one was totally the opposite way. Interesting. But we also can't forget the rom-com feel of Dante and Randall. I mean, to some degree, that kind of is there as well.
That's the ultimate love story. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure, for sure. These movies are, man, these movies are way more romantic than you normally think about. But you're right. You're right. Speaking of romance and love and everyone's love for these movies and everyone's love for you especially, we normally on this show we finish things off with our Jersey dozen, but for you, we have a whole separate set of questions because we got flooded by fans sending in questions that they would like uh, asked of you about Clerks and beyond. And if you don't mind, do you want to buzz through a sampling of these? And
Sure, I'm shocked that there were even questions, to be
uh,
honest.
excitement abounds, and I take no responsibility for writing any of these questions. So, and of course, the sequence, the order, entirely random, entirely nonsensical. So away we go.
Okay.
And these were from a lot of our great followers and fans of yourself, fans of the movies from Reddit. We'll start with Machine Head 11. Was she sold right away on the script for Clerks, or did it take convincing for her to take the role?
No, I was sold right away. He gave me the script to read, see if I was comfortable with the dialogue. I took it to work. I was reading it in between clients at the salon and laughing at the dialogue. So yeah, I was like, yep, I'm in.
All right, Dead Duncan, Idaho. Does she have a good lasagna recipe?
I do. And I have one on my Square store that you can actually own.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Where should we put the link in the description of this episode? Would that be the
I can
best?
send you the link. Yes.
Absolutely. We need to do that. Very cool. Um, Golden Crown Moron. Aside from the Clerks movies, what has Kevin made that you like the most?
Oh, the most?
Hmm?
I'm a fan of Kevin myself. Um, I mean, love Jersey Girl, Chasing Amy. Um, and I do enjoy his films. I'm going to say that the three top being well, all the Clerks franchise there, but also Chasing Amy and Jersey Girl, Dogma.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
All of them.
Yeah.
um, this one I'm excited for your answer because I have a feeling you're gonna have real strong recall about this. Queen Anne the Third, was her jacket in the first Clerks maroon, burgundy, or purple? I always imagined it was, and I'd be disappointed if it wasn't.
Well, none of the above.
Oh,
Because it was a black and white film, it was easier and best to actually stick to the colors of black and white. So the jacket, for the most part, it's funny because when people do actually see it, they're
mm,
like, not what I would have expected. But it is a black weave which has some light threading to it. And I have shown the photo of the actual jacket in color uh, on previous projects because for Clerks 3, I took it with me so that they can use it for the recreations. And I did actually post a photo of it on my feed when I was shooting. Um, but yeah, it's not what people would think.
mm, sorry, Queen Anne the Third, but the picture's out there if you want proof of everything Marilyn's saying. Negative Gain 2488. Ask her what her favorite scary movie is and give a shout out to the Vault of Horror on YouTube. So shout out to the Vault of Horror. Are
I,
you a fan of scary movies?
I am. But here's the thing with me.
Mm.
I don't like picking a favorite of anything because I don't want to have to pick. Uh, that goes with food, movie, places to eat. Like I will have my things, and I love horror films. So yeah, there's several that I've watched throughout the years, and several when I was younger would freak the crap out of me. But yeah, I love a good horror film.
Cool. Fair answer. Brain Mutant would like to know how is Brain Mutant not the one to ask about the horror movies? Brain Mutant wants to know how would she feel about an animated Askewniverse prequel series where the recurring characters are in high school?
Ooh, that
That,
would be awesome, actually.
that would be right.
Yeah. Um, be interesting though to see whether Veronica would be part of that prequel. Um, because it was Caitlin that
Mm,
Dante went to school with, right?
that is true. Oh, is that I'm trying to remember the details of the lore. So that the relationship with Veronica and Dante didn't happen in high school at all. This is afterwards,
I,
right?
I believe so.
Mm.
So there's that. Um, but that'd be interesting. I do know that as far as like the cartoon series that they had, Brian had told me that he did see an animated Veronica, but well, we all know that it didn't go past 2 episodes of one season that they actually had in the can.
Right, right.
So who knows what would have happened? And I know that Brian would love, and he really talks about it a lot to hopefully bring back the animated series. But I just don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they would just bring back a whole new, because it costs a lot of money to actually animate the way that they were doing it. So I don't know if they would do it differently. I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. And again, I mean, not being intimately knowledgeable about the animation game, but I mean, it's been some time, so I'd imagine technology has changed as well. So who knows?
Who knows?
Van Dyke Parks and Rec would like to know. Ask her if she calls it sauce or gravy, and what part of the boot her family is from. They think you're from Italy.
So let me go with this part first.
Okay.
The ancestry.
Hmm.
So yes, I have the Italian last name, but the family comes from Puerto Rico.
Mhm.
Um, but also I don't remember exactly when a cousin of mine here in California gave me the to do my DNA with ancestry.com.
Mm.
And thinking with an Italian last name, of course, Italian will be on the very first and top list. It's like, what wasn't? It was not. I was very, very surprised to see that France was at the top of the list,
Hmm.
then Portugal, then Italy, then Spain, Native American, even, and then 1% of pretty much every nationality out there. But come to find out that on my mom's side, um, great great grandfather, I think it was, it's from France. Um, and as far as like Spain, well, Puerto Rico at one point was owned by Spain. And little fun fact. So my 13 times great grandfather on my dad's side is the Ponce de Leon.
That sounds impactful. That sounds impressive. I don't know who that is, but
He oh my gosh. So he found Florida, I guess you will. I'm terrible at history and even explaining certain things, but yeah. Anyway, so going back to salsa gravy, sauce. I say sauce.
okay.
Yeah,
Me too. Me
because
too.
because when I say spaghetti sauce or something like that, I don't call it gravy.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And by the way, this
Italians out there.
this Q&A is, and we've already seen a little bit and heard a little bit of everything. This is going in different directions that I never ever would have expected. Pulpand comic fan would like to know what runs through your mind meeting fans at conventions who have enjoyed the movie since the 90s.
Oh, just thankful, validation, and and heartfelt warmth for when they do come to me and give me their stories of, what it means to them, h what they've taken away from it, how they met their girlfriend or boyfriend because of it, and all of that.
That's cool. That's really cool. It's such an important part in such a pivotal chapter and a lot of I mean certainly for my age group again like the high school college years like that's like part it's like baked into that those memories like the
Mm.
clerks and just um yeah for sure uh Armored Elder would like to know how did Marilyn feel about the ending of Clerks 3. Now before we get into this, do we feel, and I want your opinion on this, do we feel that time has passed since the release of Clerks 3 that we can talk about this ending and not worry about spoiling it? It's out, I think it's on Peacock streaming right now, or it's definitely available for streaming. Um, so we'll say if you haven't seen the movie, spoiler alert for the
Do
next
the
minute.
years.
There you go. And we'll thumbs up when we're done talking about it. But
At
how
this point, I mean, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. That is, at this point, if you haven't seen it, too bad. Uh,
I like it.
um, I mean, to some degree, very heartbreaking. Um,
A melancholy, bittersweet ending for those who are interested in this information but have not yet seen it. But certainly the passing of Dante, um, and a new chapter in life for Randall, taking on the mantle of the two and continuing on with the convenience store and having now made his movie and a new chapter in his own life. And
mhm.
yeah, definitely a more emotionally heavy movie and certainly ending than Clerks fans might have expected walking into
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Sometimes I love a good cry in a movie.
it.
And this will definitely give it to you. And I don't know because it's it's interesting the amount of people that either love it or hate it. And the reasons for hating it, I honestly feel aren't justified. Um, it's one has to evolve as a creative, and that's what happened with Kevin. You don't stay the same and you don't keep giving the same stuff. As he evolved as a writer, so have his stories. Um, and the saying, write what you know. Well, part of some of what happened was what he knew because of his own uh, dealings with heart issues, and not just his own, but those of his dad, and having passed away, and so I think that the some of the things are just not justified into what some of the people say about this Clerks 3.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, and the other thing I would say is that for those who grew up with these movies, who were of whatever age they were when they saw Clerks, and you're this much older now and Clerks 3 comes out, I would say the majority of those fans probably their taste, one would hope, would have evolved as well to an extent. So if you're 30 years later and you're looking for the same kind of movie that you were looking for when you were 15 or 18 or whatever, that feels like a bit of an issue in and of itself. Like it's okay to evolve.
yeah, and if you're the same person that you were at 15,
Yeah.
I'm afraid to be around you. It's like seriously, if you are not acting as a grown up and as an adult and someone with responsibilities and things like that, it's just yeah, you can't live life the same as when you were younger.
No, and it's not. And I apologize to all of you if we're going into a bit of a judgy direction, but I think really it's also about perspective and experiences. And when you're 15, maybe you haven't experienced loss, or you're not at that point in life where you really even feel like you're anything but immortal, right? Like you don't think about how the fragility of life. As you get older, those things come into play, and so the idea of that being a part of the story makes sense. It appeals, it appeals to you, both people who are making the movie and also a lot of those people who are watching it. So I do think that there's always going to be pushback when things evolve and things change. And no, it's not exactly the same as Clerks One, and certainly there's no donkey shows or anything that we saw in Clerks Two. But I think there's a whole lot of people out there who appreciate the direction Clerks 3 went, and what it brought to the table.
And I was going to say as well, it's like, yeah, experiences in life change your perspective on many things and gives you growth, hopefully.
Yeah. That being said, this conversation has gotten way too deep, and we need to make some sort of like joke about the number 37 or something to bring the people back. Um, let's see here. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'm going to ask you this question. You can answer it. You can deny it. You can request that we cut it right out. I'm going to ask you this though. Point blank, tied up and twisted 64 would like to know: did you know what a snowball was, which is a very famous joke from the first Clerks movie? Did you know what that was before reading the script?
Absolutely no idea.
I,
I had no idea what that was. And and here's the thing. If you really notice how I'm delivering the dialogue, I may have put a little bit too much of my thought into that. Like, that is the grossest thing ever.
I remember wondering, and I mean, I've never heard that term outside of the movie or the context of the movie. So I kind of wondered if it was just made up for the movie largely, or I mean, I don't know. Cheap plug. We had a nearly hour-long discussion with Kevin for that you can see on our other channel, 90s to Now. But that did not come up. I regret it now in this moment because I'm very curious. But yeah, certainly whether it was a thing or not, it was meant to be something that was probably gross to the majority of us in life.
Yeah,
So
I don't think I had heard it before or since.
fair enough. Zookeeper Gamer Kev would like to know, ask her about her thoughts on being asked to reprise her role in Clerks 3. Did she feel that she was past playing that role, or that she might be tarnishing her legacy of Veronica and the number 37? By the way, I love the movie and glad that she showed up along with the other cameos. So certainly the movie has its fans. I don't know how worried you are about the legacy of the number 37. But what about the role? How protective did you feel about the role of Veronica in considering Clerks 3?
Well, I mean, at first it's like I was excited, ecstatic, whatever you want to call it, to be asked to be back.
Mhm.
Because as we all know, there were two different scripts of Clerks, and the initial one that was supposed to happen and then all of a sudden didn't, and then it was quite a few years before the second uh script came out and was told that it's going to happen, because I was told that I was in the first one. And when they had a reading of it at the Atlantic Highlands Theater for a fundraiser, and I was like, "Ah, I don't want to miss out on this. I'm going to have to figure out and fly myself out there so that I can be part of the reading."
Yeah.
And went there, and when they gave me the script and I'm looking and flipping through the pages and like, where's Veronica? I'm like, where's, okay, I'm at the end of the page of the script, and I'm like,
Really?
where's Veronica? I was like, oh, she's already written out by this point, you know,
Mm.
because scripts go through many revisions.
Yeah.
And so through the revisions, she was no longer there.
That
And so
had to be, was that a frustrating moment, like that realization? You came all the way out to Jersey and expecting to be a part of this project, and now to your knowledge, you're just not. Was that a miscommunication, or just like how what did that?
um, I don't know what you would call it, to be honest.
Mm,
It's like, so I understand that revisions happen and stuff like that. And as far as Brian knew, he didn't realize that there was a new revision that where she was cut out, because then after the fact, then he told me what the scene would have been between us.
okay.
So was I disheartened? Well, absolutely. But I still got to be part of the reading. So that was great. Um, and then cut to when the whole new Clerks 3 was announced, and you hope, and yes, I was told, but I remember the first times. So it wasn't until we were at a convention here in LA, um, LA Comic Con, which you started out as Stan Lee Comic Con, something like that. And Brian and I, we were with Legion M signing autographs, and Legion M, this was just after Jane Silent Bob reboot, so they were doing a little promo stuff for it,
Okay.
and they had the fake Clerks facade that they used for a reboot there, and had people dress up as Jay and Silent Bob, and so they did this whole thing all weekend. On that one particular day that they were doing this promo work with the people who were dressed up as Jay and Silent Bob, after the fact, they were doing some press photos, and so they had me and Brian and Jason and Kevin were there, and at a certain point, he's like, "Everybody hold up 3 fingers." Clueless me.
Mm.
So I'm holding up the 3 fingers, and then it kind of dawns on me. I'm like, wait a minute. Does that mean that I'm in it? And he's like, Yeah. And I think the whole floor kind of heard me yell excitement. And so at that point, I kind of took it as like, all right, I think this is actually going to happen.
Mm.
But again, never count your chickens before they're hatched, kind of a thing. So until I was on set.
Right, right, exactly. Until the cameras are rolling.
Right,
Did
and even
you
then, it's like, okay, as long as I don't wind up on the cutting room floor.
did you did you trust from that moment where you felt pretty sure you were going to be in the movie, did you have any concern about, well, what's happening with the character, or did you just trust that it was going to be something good and you were excited to do it?
No, I mean, to I once I saw the script, I was very happy with what was there. I mean, for my dialogue and things like that, but sad at the fact, well, oh gosh, well, I guess maybe this is it. This there won't be no 4 or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I also it's like and I never asked him. I don't think I asked Kevin because I tend to wonder. It's like, did he put that car scene, the emotional aspect of it, because of my monologue and all the stories that have contributed to the fact that it's like, they love the fact that I got so emotional for my monologue when I tried out for Clerks initially is, well, we gotta do that here, or I don't know.
No.
um
I think I feel like it was very true to the relationship and the bond that you guys had had. So I think I'm not putting, I can't put words into anybody's mouth, but I think it was just sort of a reflection of how they would be able to open up and share with each other even all these years later, just by the nature of that connection. So
yeah.
you were, I mean, you were you and he was him, and these characters, that's what they did when they got together again. I mean, there are multiple things they did when they got together again, but all of them were true to the characters.
Yeah, because I feel that the two big relationships in Dante's life were definitely Veronica and
Mhm.
Becky. Um, you know, and also just the simple fact of getting to work with Brian again in that capacity was awesome.
Yeah,
Um, I and the fact that we were able to really show our growth.
yeah,
And for me, especially, I really, really wanted to show the growth that I've had as an actor, even though as an actor, things aren't where I wish they were.
yeah. And yeah, you had mentioned sort of the state of, I mean, honestly, the state of Los Angeles and just every, I mean, I think there are a lot of people going through a lot of things as the industry has evolved and changed, and so many, I mean, you guys have gone through like the 10 plagues over there basically in LA over the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and you're out there living it all the time. Um, before we go back to the West Coast, I do want to ask you, you shot your part for Clerks 3 in Jersey,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah.
What was that like coming back? Because as you said, you haven't been back here that much before. Now you're not only are you coming back,
Mhm.
but like you're time warping back to sort of the same scene where you first created that the original. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it was pretty nostalgic, going back to all those places that we shot at and seeing the change in no matter what capacity, how the biggest to the smallest of changes that they looked like and things like that. Um, but just the simple fact of coming back to that home state as well to be able to shoot, um, and the excitement of everybody not involved, of the surrounding towns and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. So cool. I want to just hit a couple more fan questions real quick. This is a really interesting one. We mentioned, and again, if you know, you know, the significance of the number 37 from the original Clerks movie. CDN Giants fans would like to know, you're forever linked to the number 37. Why isn't Dante tied to the number 12? And I think that's a philosophical question about, you know, gender bias, perhaps from fandom. But um,
Why is he tied to fans always know, like, they take in all the little things much more, but why would Dante be associated with number 12?
was 12 the amount of women that he said he'd been with?
Ah,
So
okay.
why is it such a thing for you? They're basically saying like, why just the girl? You know?
Okay. It's because there is a difference. There is a difference. It's like, and it doesn't matter how many guys have been with women as much as it matters how many women have been with guys either. So, even had it not been that, I
Kids, go to bed. Go to bed, kids.
I
So,
think had she mentioned that she was with 12 guys, even if it was just having sex, it's different than when guys have sex with 12 different women.
for sure, for
They're
sure.
viewed it's viewed differently.
Is it fair? Probably not,
Yes.
but that's the reason. And yeah, so I don't think we're telling you anything that you don't already know, CDN Giants fan. But it's all these years later, I don't think that type of different perception between the genders has changed when it comes to that sort of stat, that sort of metric, we'll call it.
Yeah, I mean, it may be a little bit freer now, but still, a woman's going to get called a whore versus a guy who's called what I don't even know. I don't even know what to
A stud muffin.
there you go.
What's the least likely word that we could have worked into this conversation? We're hitting them all. Okay. Okay, here's a good one. Previous Lake would like to know, ask her what the second most popular thing that people quote to her is. And I love her. They love you.
Aw,
Um,
thank you.
so what would you say? I mean, number one, I guess, is some variation of the 37 thing, but
Absolutely.
what's number two?
Oh my god. I guess the lasagna. Yeah, some form of whatever with the lasagna, I guess would be.
That's it's very telling. I think people really look at that lasagna as this symbol of like true solid commitment and love in a relationship. It's a perfect embodiment of it, and it's cool. Um let, let's just talk a little bit because we touched on it about your experiences as of late. Of course, you've been in LA since what, 1998, I think.
997 Memorial Weekend of 97.
Okay. Okay. Um And you've been working, I mean, you've been sort of in the mix in the entertainment world, but also working as a makeup artist and stylist. And like, how would you, I mean, overall, and I know that you've talked about the challenges more recently in life, but I guess how would you describe overall that experience for this big chunk of your life? And would you do it all over again?
How would I describe it? I mean, not quite sure, but would I do it again? Probably. Um, because the thing is that, people don't do things because there's fear involved for the most part. Going after the dreams and not knowing and the unknown and all that kind of stuff. But I know that I tried, and so I don't have to be the one to say what if.
Hmm.
So I have that. I attempted it. I tried it. Um, you know, it wasn't easy at all, and maybe it's because I just didn't understand the business aspect or know it well enough to be able to make it a business. And I don't know. I really don't know. But again, I don't have to say what if. I attempted it. I tried it. I mean, and the weird thing is, it's like people know who I am. It's just a matter of having those people who had or have the wherewithal to put you in their projects and to know or not know why you don't get cast in projects, or or them maybe not having the vision to see further than what they may be seeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, just because I'm moving doesn't mean it's completely saying goodbye to it, because there's plenty of filming going on the East Coast. I'm looking at moving to Raleigh to be near family.
Okay.
And Raleigh is pretty much kind of square in the middle of many different areas. So we'll see. I'm keeping my manager, who can operate from pretty much anywhere, and we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, a couple years ago, I was having some surgeries and things like that, and health issues, and I had to pretty much stop
Mm.
the day job
Yeah.
that I was doing, and and things, but again, with the business being what it was out here, things just kind of really dropped quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great people on all experience levels and everywhere. Like, if there's one thing that we get from every conversation we have with people, especially out there on the West Coast, it's that things are very, very unpredictable for so many different reasons. Because, again, natural catastrophes and global shutdowns didn't help things only 5 years ago,
Yeah.
and strikes and the ever changing landscape of streaming and technology and what content is worth. And it feels like more than ever being a part of entertainment is sort of a wing and a prayer situation, because you don't really even know what you're shooting for anymore. So,
Yeah.
but I will say, Marilyn, that like no matter what, even today, to this very day, you have fans all over the world, and you can appear. I mean, you can be out there in public and be at these conventions, and that has to be evidence to you that you have enjoyed this success, because you have connected with so many people who want to continue to connect with you and tell you about it. So I would hope that's got to be cool.
Yeah, I mean, and success is measured in many different ways.
Mhm.
It may not be financial, and it may not be to the fruition that I would like, but yes, the love of the fans means a lot to me. It really does. Um, so I don't get booked as often to the conventions as some of my other colleagues, unfortunately. But what I will say, look, if you do want to see me at a convention, you got to get yourself, all
Mm.
your friends and family, and let the promoters know so that they can hopefully book me to your local convention.
Yeah, and we got to get people to bring you out to Jersey, because we've got big ones here. I'm sure you've been here for some of them before, but Chiller Theater is certainly uh,
Chiller, I've been
okay.
to twice, I believe.
Okay. Okay.
Um, they try to keep it varied, which I will
Sure.
give credit for that. They try to keep it varied so they're not bringing the same people over and over again like some conventions. But
Mm.
um, but yeah, I do need to appear at more local ones.
Well, hey, if anybody would like to put the bug in Marilyn's ear about making an arrangement for her to appear at your event or convention, of course they can reach out to you in the world, right? They can hit you up on social media.
Absolutely. And we all have the same booking agent for the conventions, and that's ZSC Entertainment. So they're easily reached to book.
Easy. Very cool. Now listen, um, you've been gone for a long time from the Garden State. So number one, I want to tell you that there's a lot of action happening here in Jersey these days as far as movie productions and things.
I
It's
heard.
yeah, we got a lot going on, but we need to because inevitably what that means is you're going to be here, whether it's conventions or some sort of project. You're going to be back home. Um, we got to prepare you, and we have to test you, and we have to see what you know and what you remember, and just bring it back to what we do here in the Garden State. So we do a little something here that we like to call the Jersey Dozen, rapid fire. Don't
Oof.
think too much about any of these questions. No more than you need to. Take as long as you want, but let's see what kind of Jerseyan, if you will, you are. You ready?
Okay.
All right. This won't hurt too much, I promise. Favorite Jersey Shore town?
Used to be Seaside.
Mm, okay. Did that the used to be is ominous. Did something happen? Did
Well, I
we
don't know because,
Oh, okay.
because it's been so long, it's like, is it the same?
Okay, okay. So it's not like a used to be seaside until I got mugged and then I never
No,
went back there. Okay.
no.
Cool. That's a plus. Um, all right. Favorite or what you consider to be the signature New Jersey TV series, Sopranos or Jersey Shore? Or
Mm,
is there a third option?
neither of those.
Oh,
I didn't watch Sopranos.
okay.
I definitely didn't watch Jersey Shore. But I guess Sopranos if you're gonna pick one or the other.
Okay. Okay. To your recollection, and we know these are all kind of based in the context of your time here in Jersey, but what was your favorite pizza place?
Ooh. Um, I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it was Nunzio's. It was called Nunzio's. I I worked in a salon right next to a pizza place,
Hmm.
so in Sayreville. Um, and then they moved locations when I had already moved. I, but I don't remember the name. I think that was it.
Okay. Well, shout out to Nunzio's if you're still out there in Sayreville. Um, Springsteen or Bon Jovi?
Bon Jovi.
All right, all right. Nobody is hems and haws about that. Everyone has a very decisive opinion, one way or the other.
Well, they're both
Uh,
great, but it's for me, and I grew up in the era of both of them, but I have to say that I would listen more to Bon Jovi than I did to Springsteen.
that's cool. They have a rest stop on the Parkway that is now the John Bon Jovi rest stop.
I heard.
Yeah. Best live show memory in Jersey. Talking about like a concert.
Oof. I didn't go to a lot,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to remember, were they in Jersey or were they in the city? So I remember a Who concert.
You were definitely in PNC Bank Arts Center territory. Was that
Yeah.
a thing?
Yeah, yeah, but I don't recall where I attended what I attended.
Okay, that's fair.
That makes any sense. Because seriously, they were very far and few between.
Mhm. Okay, well, let's expand it. What about any kind of show, even a theatrical show or any kind of live entertainment in Jersey? Is there anything you remember? No?
Not really, no.
Okay, you were you were the you didn't need to seek out entertainment. You were the entertainment. You were
Oh, I don't know.
um, Parkway or Turnpike,
Parkway.
right? All right. Um, best place. You weren't old enough, so let's see if you have an answer for this. But
You
best place
don't.
to grab a beer.
Well, actually, it's not so much that I'm not old enough because yes, I am.
No, no,
Because
but you weren't when you were here in Jersey. To
yes, I
grab
was. Oh, yes, I was.
in a second.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
I was.
okay. I'm thinking you moved away when you were 18. Okay, never mind.
No.
All
And
right.
in fact, when the drinking age was changed to 21, I was already 18, so I was grandfathered in. But I don't drink.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh my goodness. Pork roll or bagels? Jersey specialties.
Pickle.
Cool. Um, favorite mall?
Hmm. I think for the most part, I think I went to Woodbridge Mall, but then there was East Brunswick Mall.
Hmm,
No, probably East Brunswick Mall because it was closer.
okay. Okay. Um, yeah. If you do come back to Jersey, you'll be surprised to see the state of the malls these days. They're not quite the thing anymore. Um, Jersey icon they should name a rest stop after. So we have Bon Jovi. We have I should have a list in front of me. There's a James Gandolfini. I believe there's a Whitney Houston stop. Who comes to mind as someone that should get the nod?
There's only one person that I know of, Kevin.
I like it. I like it. That would be a fun because they all have signature stuff. Like the Bon Jovi one, there's a giant video wall that's playing live performances all day.
Oh, cool.
Um, so I wonder what that Kevin Smith one would be, but um, I feel like there might be some cloudy air involved.
I get it. But no, I mean, I feel like, yeah, the iconic people known for being from New Jersey, it's like Kevin is definitely one. I mean, yeah, there's, those of us that were in Clerks and all that, but Kevin, like, he's made his mark and he's been able to, like, really keep reinventing himself to some degree. So, yeah, Kevin.
Absolutely, great choice. Um, this is sort of a defining. This helps us define whether people see themselves as more North or South Jersey. Were you more interested in New York sports teams or Philly sports teams?
New York or New Jersey, never Philly.
Okay, okay, yeah. Our the Nets in the NBA left for Brooklyn, so we don't really have much in the way of Jersey pro sports beyond the Devils, if you're a
Mm,
hockey fan. But
mm.
okay, fair enough. And finally, this is open ended, and this is sort of the hook for you. This is the ultimate soundbite, and you need to make it as kick ass as possible.
Oh boy.
Why do you, why do you love Jersey?
Oh my gosh. It's the Green State for a reason and the Jersey Shores.
What does that mean? It's the Green State
I
reason.
mean, it's New York, it's all concrete.
Mhm.
And Jersey, you've got a lot of trees and gardens and all that. So it's like you don't have far to be in nature.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
and then you've got the Jersey Shore that isn't far from anywhere coastwise, you know.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's great for us. It's a destination. I just needed to make sure you weren't using some sort of. We've slid in some double entendres and stuff in this interview, and I wasn't sure what you meant by green. You're slick, you're sly, but okay, we got it. We got
I don't get that. I don't understand that one.
it. We're all good. We're all good. But yeah, we this has been amazing. And thank you, Primera. First of all, to all the people who sent in questions. We got a sampling of them in. So thank you guys for that, and of course, most of all, thanks to you, Marilyn, for
Thanks.
joining us. We got a major glimpse into your life, your career, your journey, and all the stuff that we continue to love about what you have done and continue to do. So we uh, we definitely want people. We will post that link to let people get your lasagna.
Thank you. Yeah. And for anyone who would like to get in touch with me in any way, it's like I will be appearing at Gem State Comic Con May 17th and 18th in Boise, Idaho.
Hmm.
But otherwise, you can find me on socials. Instagrams is like the one that I use majority of the time, and it filters over to Facebook. I'm occasionally on X, Twitter, and Threads, and Blue Sky, and I don't even know anymore.
You got it covered. You're doing pretty well. But yeah, yeah. So definitely follow Marilyn on there, and we can't wait to see what you do next. I know that you got a big move ahead, but I think there's going to be a lot of. I just have the feeling there's going to be a lot of cool East Coast things coming up for you, up and down the East Coast appearances, and who knows? Hopefully, you'll be in front of the cameras working on something here back in the Garden State sooner rather than later. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, and thank you guys for checking us out on Made in Jersey. Of course, follow us, subscribe. It's all free, it's all helpful, it all keeps us growing. So until next time, thank you for visiting us here at the Garden State. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks, Marilyn.
Thank you.